5 and 10 segment. We promised Tomar would be under 10 minutes here.
He's a student-to-point athlete.
Yeah, you just got to get to his book. Let's get right into it. Topic number one, we got to talk a little bit about the Jets-Ravens game. I mean, to me...
Were the Jets there?
The Jets... I would compare it to how they were overmatched in the game one last year against the Ravens, and it scared the crap out of every Jet fan in the world because they had all this hype around them and they looked horrible. But they were overmatched so badly on offense, and it starts with their offensive line. Their offensive line looked horrible. Wayne Hunter's horrible. The new center they're filling in for Mangold. He did all right last week, and I said maybe he'll be fine. He wasn't. Haloti Ngata just dominated him. I mean, Sanchez played terribly. Granted, he was in a rough spot the whole time, but a big-time quarterback, can overcome that. He did not. The next day, I don't know if you heard about this, David Clowney. You remember David Clowney?
Yeah.
Practice squad guy. Got a little bit of burn for the Jets. He was on Twitter. Nobody follows his Twitter, but this came out on ESPN. He was on Twitter that night calling what the next Jets offensive play would be, and he was right like 70% of the time. Here comes a screen to here. Here comes a run up the middle. That's how predictable Schottenheimer is. I mean, that guy, I am a member of a group on Facebook called Fire Brian Schottenheimer. I've been it since last year because when you look at the weapons that they do have, I just don't think that they utilize them well. To me, that's their biggest problem. I mean, when you can't be that predictable, where a guy who hasn't been on the team in 2 years is sitting there texting, tweeting what they're going to run.
I think it very simply goes down to when you think you're a team that does everything, you end up doing nothing.
Right.
You have to be well balanced, but you can't just say we're going to open it up and then now we're going to ground and pound. Like you have to be a little bit of everything. So like Coach Island was saying, in his even at the high school level, you have to be able to do everything. And if you just think one day you're going to be this and one day you're going to be that, you're not going to be anything.
Right. You never see that. So you have to have an identity, and I think the last 2 years they had this identity of being a ground and pound team. And everybody's criticizing them that they're not, but they can't ground and pound it.
Yeah.
There are not holes. I don't care who's running back.
They got a big offensive line problem.
I don't care who's their running back. They're not running for big yards behind that offensive line. All right, we'll move over to the other side. We'll go to the Giants Cards. Everybody, they want to talk about the play where Victor Cruz dropped the ball. Clearly, it was a terrible, terrible call. He was not giving himself up. We've seen
I thought he was giving himself up.
Well, here's the thing. We see that all the time when guys drop the ball. He admitted he had a brain fart and he didn't know what he was doing. Eli Manning said he knew they caught a break because everybody was jumping on him. You don't give yourself up with 3 minutes to go in the game.
It looked to me like he dropped the one who was going back to the huddle or to the line of scrimmage.
Because he said he thought he got hit. He said it.
That's why he was giving.
He wasn't going down like he was sliding or he was. I mean, they were not in a clock crunch at that point. The reason that rule is in place is for you want to speed up.
Well, it was a loophole but I think it was the right call.
Here's my point though, and I'm not a big Giants fan, but I'm not a Giants hater either. But my point is that to me that's not what won the game for them, because if that had gone the other way, that would have been a ridiculous break for the Cardinals. It's not like the Cardinals would have had just a gift; they would have just been handed the ball, and the Giants still had to make a big play, and they did. And that's the sign of a good team, And so maybe I was very down on the Giants. They proved me wrong. I mean, I'm not going to get too hyped up about them beating the Cardinals and St. Louis. It was a great win against Philly. St. Louis game, they didn't look good, but they found a way to win. And I think the Giants kind of have been that team for a while, but they do find ways to win against inferior teams, which is a big thing. Now, they're 3-1. They're probably going to be 4-1. They're a big favorite this week against Seattle. So it's going to kind of be hard to look at their record right now and tell you what kind of team they are. But one thing you can say is they do find ways to win.
I think teams like the Giants know that they have they have the toughest schedule probably in the NFL in the second half. So they're doing a good job of winning the games they're supposed to win. And then if maybe they get some sort of rhythm, who knows what happens in the second half. So they did a good job. Sometimes they need breaks. There's nothing. Don't apologize for them. You don't have to give them back.
Jets could very easily, probably should be 1-3 right now. Yeah. And the Jets have lived in the last 2 years off a good break. Yeah. So for Jet fans to be calling up talking about Giants being lucky, you can't.
Everybody needs them.
Yeah, everybody needs them. Exactly. A lot of breaks go your way. A lot of breaks go the other way. We got to talk about Buffalo a little bit, Tone. Now, I didn't watch the game, but I mean they lost their first game of the season. What do you think about the Bills now? I mean, their 3-0 start. I think everybody will kind of agree it was a little bit of an aberration to an extent, but they are a very good team. I mean, are they going to be in it? Are we going to be looking at them week 14 and they're in the mix where you're going to still look at them as a wild card potential?
I would like to think so, but I don't know.
Tony's seen this movie before.
Yeah, I've plenty of times, and it's not, it's...
He's a guy who said the Yankees are going to win 85 games, too. He's down on a lot of his teams. I mean, what do you think? I mean, are the Bills for real? I mean,
the Bills are not for real.
The reason I don't think they're for real is their defense is just not...
No, you're exactly right. I mean...
And they haven't been good. And so, I mean, I think that their offense has some playmakers. Fred Jackson, you called it early in the year. I mean, he's an underrated back. I mean, he's a legit running back. They got a legit quarterback who could win games by himself. They got some playmakers in the wide receiving core that kind of go under the radar, but you're not going to win with that kind of defense.
No.
I mean,
they had a 17-point lead against a rookie quarterback in Cincinnati, and they just gave it up. And they let him come down the field. And
how does that happen? I mean, how do you go out and beat the Patriots? But it's it's typical.
It's a classic letdown.
That's
classic
letdown. Played down to the worst team.
Now, we talk about the Raiders a little bit. Now, the Raiders lose. But I think the story to me, and it came out earlier after the game, their coach guaranteed an AFC title.
Yep.
Now, you were all over Rex Ryan for his guarantees. I mean, are you going to get all over this guy for guaranteeing an AFC title?
Well, I think the difference is I know he's crazy. So it doesn't. What bothers me with Rex Ryan is you're like, well, I don't see anything wrong with it. I think the problem is the Raiders are undisciplined, and that falls on the coach. And all he's doing is making them more cocky.
But it's just so weird. They're undisciplined under every coach. They lead the league in penalties
every year. It's because of the type of player they get. They get a lot of good athletes who aren't good football players. So those guys don't know the finer points, whether it's something as silly as...
How can you not be able to teach these guys the finer points?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's because the type of guy who accepts a job for Al Davis is the type of guy that doesn't know everything.
It's just so bizarre to me that over the course of many different players, many different coaches, they always are that undisciplined team. It's amazing to me.
They were undefeated in their division last year. So it's not crazy that he thinks they're going to win their division. But it's crazy that he's making statements when they haven't proven that they're any better than they were, because they should have beaten the Bills, and what killed them there and almost killed them against the Jets was that they just don't play any type of defense. They never get off the field. Right. They let people run all over them.
Yeah.
And obviously they're outclassed by the Patriots. So I don't know what he thinks is going to happen in the next couple weeks just because the Patriots beat him. He's like, oh, well, that's the Patriots. You have to beat teams. You barely beat the Bills. You barely lost to the Bills.
You have two very weak teams in our division. The Denver Broncos are very weak, and Chiefs are very weak. But, I mean, to me, the Chargers are for real.
Yeah, but they tend to play well against the Chargers, and that's why he believes that. But they're too undisciplined. They have a great running back. Their quarterback's all right. Their wide receivers are all right. Their defense is awful. Other than their front four, their defense.
Yeah, they got a good front four, and they got playmakers. I mean, they'll be in the mix. I mean,
but he's crazy, so it doesn't bother me because I know he's insane. So it's totally fine. Let's go Raiders.
All right. We're just going to finish up with some baseball talk. We got to talk a little bit about Francona leaving, getting fired, whatever it is. Yep. It was kind of a mutual agreement. To me, it was crazy to think that he left. I mean, when they were talking about it right after the game, I was like, there's no way this guy's leaving. They hadn't won a title in however many, 86 years, and then they wind up winning 2 titles under him. He made them relevant again. He made them a powerhouse. Granted, they had the biggest collapse ever in American League.
I'm glad you brought this up.
They had the worst, September in their history. But what do you think about it, man? Are you shocked? I'm nothing less than shocked that he left.
I am not. I am shocked he left only because he shouldn't have left. But I could see it coming because you know what? He's sick of it. If I were him, I'd be sick of it too. Is it his fault? People are blaming him. Is it his fault that Josh Beckett can't beat the Orioles?
Right.
Is it his fault
that John Lackey was at a 6-5
John Lackey was
year, right?
awful all year?
Right.
You know, those are the type of things that he can't do anything about that. And everyone's saying, well, he let people drink. He let starters who weren't playing, like pitchers, drink beer on days they were off. Where's the captain? Where's Jason Varitek, who's supposed to be such a great leader?
Yeah, right.
What's he doing?
Right.
Because I know he's not hitting. And I know he's not throwing anybody out. So why isn't he telling us, hey, don't drink a beer? Because apparently that's not good. And nobody cared about it when they were on pace for 130 wins.
So all those things, though, all those crazy things were, I think so too. All those crazy things were going on whether they lost or won that last game.
Exactly.
So they're saying if Papelbon, who only blown 2 saves all year, didn't blow that save, he would still be there next year.
Yeah, and there were 2 outs.
So now it's time for a change because he blew a save, but it wouldn't have been time for a change if he didn't. Like nobody was talking about him possibly leaving.
The one thing I fault him for, and all year I talked about it, was I think they did a disservice to Carl Crawford. Carl Crawford is not a 7-hitter. His skills are pointless there.
Yeah,
bat him 1, bat him 9.
He started doing that week 1 of the season.
Yeah, so I fault him for that, but I don't fault him for their collapse because That stuff happens, but you know what? You can't fire everybody, so you're going to fire the manager.
Right, but he apparently wanted to leave, and now he's going to go somewhere else.
Because he's sick of it.
I don't. You think he'll be
right?
You think he'll be successful anywhere else?
If you read between the lines in some of his quotes, he was kind of saying the leaders weren't listening.
Yeah, they were all for themselves, stuff like that.
He was saying some stuff. If you read between the lines, you can tell he was ready. I think he.
As a coach, if you feel like you're giving just as much effort as you ever did, and now you just feel like they're not listening to, what can you possibly do other than continue to give a message?
I agree with you. Do you think he's going to be a successful coach wherever he goes? I mean,
not wherever he goes, but I think if he goes in the right spot,
I think he's looking at the 2 Chicago teams.
I think he'd be good in the White Sox.
Oh, because you hated Ozzie Guillen.
Ozzie Guillen proved that he was a zero. He proved it. He couldn't even last the whole year. What a zero he was.
Florida will be in the World Series now.
Adam Dunn drove him to the airport.
Florida will be in the World Series next year.
Yeah, you know what? And then 2 years later, Henry Ramirez will punch him out. And then
so what? They'll have a World Series title. He'll punch him out with his World Series ring.
Ozzie Guillen is a zero.
I have a question. This could be. What if somebody claimed Ozzie Guillen off waivers? Would that trade not have gone through?
That's exactly. Why don't managers have to clear waivers? That's a very good point. Like, what if you traded Ozzie Guillen to the Cardinals? No, what if you traded Ozzie Guillen to the Cardinals so we can help out? So we can help out Tony La Russa right now. That's a loophole. This is why Moose has done a great job. He's staying in the film room, and these are the things that he does. He finds loopholes.
Right. This is when he's sitting up staring at.
That's why he won his fantasy championship. By the way, you got to give him credit.
Yeah, he's exactly right.
Hambinos.
But he's right. Why don't those guys? Why is he allowed to get traded 2 days left to go in the season?
I think it's a dumb rule.
I think it's a dumb rule too, but who cares? Nobody's gonna claim him off.
I'm not getting traded for a manager. How awful of a baseball player are you? Who'd you get traded for? A manager.
Yeah. Oh, a manager who failed.
Yeah, a manager who they wanted out of the town anyway.
Tone, anything piss you off this week?
So that Derek Jeter game last night, you know that shot he hit? Your boy Jimmy.
Look at that.
Pellegrino.
8 pages of it.
Listen to this. I'm going to read you some quotes. That he blows up this girl. What's her name? Kristen Ruggieri? Blows her poor Facebook page up. Listen to this. These are just some of the comments. Jeter's lucky the outfield plays him like a little leaguer. Ball had a lot of hang time and it didn't even make it to the warning track. Okay, that's one. It was in the park. It should have been caught, but they play him at a 3rd grade school girl depth. Okay, exactly. Derek Jeter is an even softer version of a singles hitter, and most of his hits in the infield and bloop are in the infield and bloop variety. I discussed it in January with Bobby V, and he said teams play him 20 to 30 more feet shallow. Okay, dude, listen to this. I didn't say anything until you said get a clue. You didn't make any comments. If you didn't like making comments, you wouldn't get any back. Typical clueless, elitist, skank fan. How old is this guy?
He's 40.
He's 40. Is he married?
He's married with kids and all.
His wife should be ashamed. This guy's on Facebook.
He's on Matt calling his girl skank fan.
A skank fan.
That's pretty rough. Yeah, and to say if these guys are playing him that shallow, then that makes his 297 average that much better. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's hitting 297, and these guys have this great scouting report on him. To me,
let me tell you something.
Look, and we've talked at length about Derek Jeter.
Let me tell you something. I play softball and I play baseball. Everybody always plays me deep, and all I do is hit balls in front of outfielders. I don't apologize for any of it.
Why would you?
You know what? And Derek Jeter, if you're out there,
to take away from the fact that he hit a go-ahead double.
What the hell?
Jimmy, pick your spots.
Pick your spots.
Pick your spots.
Harp on the strikeout against
Papa
Grande.
Yeah, let's not make this up the big potato. Let's not make this about Jimmy.
Stop stalking people's Facebook page.
Tomar,
you were the player of the week.
Anytime.
Congratulations. You're always welcome here.
Potato sack.
You're.
Oh my God.
Baptist, keep it popping. God bless you.
That's it, man.
Coach Ireland, we look forward to having you on again, especially before the Thanksgiving show.
Yeah.
But good luck this week, 3 o'clock. And if there's anything we could do, please let us know, because we'd be happy to scout. We're happy to do whatever you need.
That's it.
But listen,
we'll be
seriously, go home, drop Tomar off, and get back in the film room. Because you spend way too much time.
I don't want you going to sleep before 2 o'clock.
You spend way too much time here. Go figure out how to stop the wing tee, and don't tell me it's going to take you a quarter. Take one series and get it fixed.
That's it. Wrap up.
Everybody have a good week. We'll see you next week. We're the Tri-State Sports Guys.